Yeah, so welcome to this session for those who made it. I'm Julia Bohlmann, and I'm leading this CPD session, which is based on the work I've been doing with colleagues from across the University of Glasgow, two of which are here, Niget Riaz and Colette Mayer. And I'm going to talk to you about what the internationally relevant curriculum scales are and where we're kind of coming from and what we can do with it to make curriculum transformation with internationalization and decolonizing the curriculum principles in mind. So Niget, Colette, and I are coming from the direction of decolonizing the curriculum. Colette is still co-leading the community of practice currently, and Niget has been involved, and I have co-led the community of practice a couple of years ago. So just so to set the scene of where we're coming from with this project. And I would like to play a short, just 1 minute of a short video. Oh no, actually, I'm give a session outline first. So I give a bit of a background to the internationally relevant curriculum skills. We're going to get a chance to trial it, a very simplified version of it. And then the second half, we're going to explore what we can do with the results that we might get back from that. So just to set the scene of where we're coming from, I wanted to connect this to the decolonizing the curriculum movement that is more than 10 years old in the UK now. It has a longer social history across the world, but in the UK, this became really relevant in 2014 with UCL publishing a video on why is my curriculum so white, and I'm going to play the first minute because it sets the scene quite well of what we're trying to do with the internationally relevant curriculum skills. So just a minute on this.
Whiteness is a very Eurocentric concept which can be linked historically to colonialism and imperialism.
I think that the white curriculum is a system of knowledge that's been largely shaped by colonialism or colonial endeavour.
The word whiteness draws attention to something which for a lot of people is invisible, that they don't think about, a sort of blindness to other perspectives.
Only having white authors, white ideas being celebrated. When I say white, I don't mean just by white people, I mean those that perpetuate negative ideas and stereotypes about brown and black people.
A student who was studying linguistics asked me, "Why is your English so good?" And I didn't hit him, which was sad. But there's been English medium education in India since 1835, since Macaulay's education reforms, because of empire. And people should really know that, because they study empire from this perspective that it was like this benevolent Elizabethan NGO that went everywhere to save the world.
They gave you the railway.
We got railroads and we got post and you know, machines. Yay!
Yeah, I think this I just wanted to set the scene with it and connect the decolonizing the curriculum movement with internationalization, the way we conceived it within this project. So while this movement has had lots of different expressions across the UK and also in other countries, there is also the particular background of Scotland. So I'm going to let Niget say a few words about that.
Thank you, Julia. That was actually a really interesting clip. I might pinch it at a future date. So when Scotland started looking at tackling racism, this is on the back of an Equalities and Human Rights Commission report called Tackling Racial Harassment, University Challenged. It was published in 2019, and it led for the Scottish tertiary sector to call for resources to support both colleges and university to recognise, understand and tackle racism. I was brought on board to lead 3 of the projects to tackle racism on campus and also look at the underrepresentation of ethnic minorities within the FE and HE sector. And the third project that we worked across collaboratively was the anti-racist curriculum, and that was as a direct call from University Scotland Learning and Teaching Committee, and it led to having over 30 colleagues from across the sector taking part in this project, and it's still ongoing. At the same time as this report was published, University of Glasgow undertook a study, and this was published in 2021. It's the Understanding Racism Transforming Universities University Cultures report. And in response to that, a really detailed action plan was created alongside it. And as part of my role when I came to the university, pardon me, was establishing an anti-racist framework for race equality work. It was, you know, helping support what a globally reflected curriculum that embeds race equality looks like, and that fits again in with the work that Julia's doing. And what we did as part of that was do a lot of professional development, set up a Decolonizing the Curriculum community of practice, and also set up a global majority network. Both networks are doing really, really well. This work was part of the university's strategy, particularly in learning and teaching, where it prioritized decolonizing the curriculum as broader commitment to inclusivity, well-being, integrity, and respect. And it encouraged staff to reflect on the teaching practices and include diverse knowledge systems, philosophies, and cultures. Again, this led to a commitment by the Learning and Teaching Committee and Vice Principal of Learning and Teaching to put resources aside, and this is for our Learning and Teaching Development Fund, Staff Student Partnership Funds, and also for our Scholarship of Teaching and Learning projects that have taken place. So really, that is where we are right now, and I'm going to hand back over to you, Julia, to take us through the rest of the session. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Niket. Yeah, absolutely right. So this is basically the product, or still in process, a work in progress, that is funded by the Scholarship of Learning and Teaching Fund. And as you've seen in the first slide, we are quite a few members. So in addition to Colette, Niket, and me, there's Donald Reed, who teaches statistics in the College of MBLS, and we have 2 student interns who are international students, Jafan, who's a PGR student, and Sam, who is in psychology and undergraduate student. So it's really important that we have the student perspective on board with those 2, but they couldn't make it, unfortunately, today. So what we were trying to do with this is to create basically a framework for evaluating the international relevance and cultural inclusivity of University of Glasgow curricula as a whole. So it's building on, this is not completely new work, not from scratch. We built on work by Kathleen Quinlis and Dave Thomas, who have created the culturally sensitive curriculum scales in the context of England. So they were creating a similar instrument to gather student perspectives on the cultural inclusivity of courses, but with demographics in and around London, so less focused on international students. So we were trying to bring that international aspect into this work, and the end point, or the end purpose, is to guide curriculum revisions, basically to improve the engagement of international students and racially minoritized students, and reduce the attainment gap for both groups. And currently that's still over 10% here at the University of Glasgow. And so it has not improved over the last few years, even though we know a lot about tackling racism on campus. So why is it important? It's not just ethically aligned with our values as Glasgow's world-changing ethos. It's actually strategic aligned, and we try to really pull that together and make the case for that by looking at the strategy. So currently we have 30% of our student population is international, so that's quite a lot above the average in the UK. And prospective students have been surveyed, and they do prioritize the sense of belonging before they apply. So that's why it's so important to work on this. And there is lots of research in the literature that actually correlates the sense of belonging with academic performance, resilience, and employability. And that's also where the attainment gap comes in, so that basically white students perform better and get higher degrees than students of color, unfortunately. So that's sort of the strategic angle, which is confirmed by the student perspective. So these are our two students, Jafan and Sam, and they found it really important. They just want to feel acknowledged and taken seriously when they speak to staff, even though with a lot of our international students who are mainly enrolled in postgraduate taught degree, they're only here for 12 months. And often they're not treated in the same way as undergraduate students. So for example, the NSS survey is usually taken more seriously than the postgraduate taught student experience survey. Don't know whether that's correct. I think which sort of also runs at interesting time of the year where those students are really busy with their dissertations. And what, in conversation with Jafan and Sam, what they've pointed out is also especially the mental health aspect of going through a UK degree, whether that is postgraduate, undergraduate, and the huge investments that families make for those students to succeed. So sometimes you might not see dropout rates, but I think where something has to give when things are really pressurized and stressful, and that is often mental health and well-being. So as a team, we also have our purpose with this project is we have sort of tried to create two purposes or two goals. So on the one hand, we want to collect data on a student perspective from across the institution, and we want to link student perceptions on their curriculum in terms of international relevance and cultural inclusivity to interest and interactions data. And that is also what Quinlan and Thomas have done in the past, and they found there is a connection there. So they found that students of color perceive the curriculum as less relevant to them, and therefore also interacted less with staff than their white counterparts. And we want to see whether we get similar results at our institution. And in the end, that data that we are about to collect in this academic year is to inform university policy and strategy to diversify and internationalize curricula. So we want to have lots of hard data from across the institution. And to get that, we're going to roll out the survey in semester 2 to all students without getting any lecturers involved. So going to the students first and get that data. We also hope to create a tool for the Scottish and UK higher education sector to help staff to self-evaluate and enhance their curricula. And there's already interest there from the University of Strathclyde and also the University of Worcester to actually trial this at their institution. So watch this space. But the reason why we are actually gathered here in this CPD workshop is that we also want to create something really useful for educators, so for lecturers, course conveners, program conveners, for them to collect specific data on their programs and courses to basically lead their redesign. And the reason for that is because we often get asked with decolonizing the curriculum, I don't know where to start. This is such a massive topic. So we hope that this tool helps to identify areas where students perceive the curriculum to be less relevant and less inclusive, and that gives sort of a starting point. Just to reassure anyone who's worried about that data appearing in any reports or publications, so program and course level data will not feature in those reports. So the courses and programs will not be identified. For the for reports and publications, we're really interested in the big data. We might look at differences between STEM subjects and social science and arts and humanities subjects, because usually there is a difference. So we want to see whether that's confirmed in our context as well. So what does it actually look like in practice, or the kind of tangible aspect of IRCS? I'm going to call it IRCS now to just make it short and roll off the tongue. It's basically 24 Likert scale items, which are scored on a scale of 1 to 6. So 1 being strongly disagree to 6 strongly agree. And we have 5 categories or dimensions that we're measuring. The first one is diversity, which includes 8 questions, and it looks at whether students perceive whether ethnically diverse perspectives and experiences are included in the course. Then we have a category on representation. So looking at how ethnic minorities are depicted, so really focusing on avoiding those stereotypes in our teaching. The third dimension is around power, so looking at whether courses actually encourage critical consciousness about systemic inequalities in the context of their discipline. Classroom interactions, 2 short questions on whether classroom dynamics foster equitable participation, and then we also look at assessments and to see whether those are culturally inclusive. And then in addition to those 5 dimensions, as I said, we're going to look at interest and interaction. So we have 15 questions on how students engage with staff and with peers during class time, but also out with class time. And then we have demographic questions, including age, program level of study, gender, nationality, and ethnicity. And those demographic questions, we're really, really interested in the difference between home students and international students' perception of their curriculum. So I include the QR code here, but don't scan it just yet. That's more for later. But this is what it looks like. And the way we would encourage staff to use it as a CPD tool is to go through a few steps to prepare the survey with their students. So first, we would encourage self-evaluation. So basically for anybody, a course convener or program convener, to go through the IRCS survey themselves. The first 5 dimensions, diversity, representation, power, interactions, and assessment, are the same for students and staff. So you can actually look how you think about your course first. Then it branches out, so dimension 6 is omitted for staff. And then we have tailored demographic questions for staff, also to look at your perceptions. Maybe demographic does play a role here as well, because we have lots of international staff too, of course. Then after you've done that and you kind of clarified for yourself what you think about your own course, then it would be good to run a survey with your students. And we would recommend to set aside 15 minutes of class time. So not just posting it on Moodle, of course you can do that, but the response rate is probably quite low that way. So we would say run it in class. We have created specific briefing notes for lecturers, which come with a 2-minute video created by Sam and Jafan. And we would encourage you to play that in class. It's really just short, and it guides students how to interpret some of the survey items. And then basically taking the survey, and then if I assume you would be interested, so if you're interested, we can get in touch, you should get in touch with us, and we can provide you with a report on your particular course or program, of course, if you run it across different courses in one particular program. And then the last step would be to schedule a meeting with me so that we can then discuss potential changes to the course that would then increase international relevance and cultural inclusivity. So that's a kind of CPD pack tool that we had envisaged for this work. And we have already a few, actually quite a few people interested in it who are going to run it in semester 2 on the basis of really looking at the nitty-gritty of their own course. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop talking for a bit and open up for discussion. So you don't have to speak, but it would be great.